Shruti acquired valuable diamond ring at a very low price by avoidable contract under the provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872. The avoidable contract was not rescinded. Shruti pledged the ring with Mr. VK. Is this a valid pledge? The answer is yes, it is a valid pledge as per section 178A. It is a valid pledge, and VK, right? Who is VK over here? The pledgee. He'll have a better title over the goods because he has a vested interest, and the true owner from whom the diamond ring has been procured by Shruti cannot cancel it or get it from VK, right? He has to directly file a case on Shruti for fraud or whatever the case may be, voidable contract, right? तो ये हो गया हमारा आंसर, which is completely based on the case of Phillips versus Brooks, but the pledge is a valid one because it occurred before the contract was rescinded by the owner or the seller of the ring. चलिए, बहुत बहुत बढ़िया, ये समझ में आ गया. अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. Whether a pawnee has a right to retain the goods pledged, तो इसको हम लोग right of retainer बोलते हैं, right? Right of retainer of the pawnee, right? Right of retainer अलग है, right to redeem अलग है, right? Right to redeem belongs to the pawner or the pledger. This is that was under section 177 जो हमने पढ़ा था बहुत पहले द्वापर युग में. अब ये करते हैं सेक्शन 173, right? इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं राइट ऑफ रिटेनर. Whose right it is? Pawnee और pledgee's right. ठीक है, तो कंफ्यूज मत होइएगा. राइट टू रिडीम क्या होता है, एक बार याद करा देते हैं, रिवाइज करा देते हैं 177 में. दैट इफ आई हैव गिवन द गुड्स ऑन प्लेज, आई एम द प्लेजर, एंड आफ्टर द ड्यू डेट इज ओवर, आई डिफॉल्टेड, but still the goods have not been sold by the pawnee, the other guy, right? Obviously he has to give me a notice that he wants to sell and all that. Meanwhile, before he ends up selling, I give the money and take the goods from him. This is my right to redeem as a pledger, or what I would like to call the pawner, right? So जिसने goods दिए, he has a right to redeem it back after paying the necessary amount. This is right to retainer, right? तो हम लोग यहाँ एक नोट लिखते हैं, the pawnee or the pledgee may retain the goods pledged. Not only पैसे लिए हैं तो भाई I can, till my money is not paid, I'll not give the goods. सीधा right to retain, right? The pawnee pledgee may retain the goods pledged not only for the payment of debt, or the performance of promise, but also for, ये बहुत important है भाई, but also for interest on such debt and other necessary expenses, if any, right? So फॉर द सेफ कीपिंग ऑफ गुड्स, फॉर द वेयर हाउसिंग, अगर कुछ एक्स्ट्रा जा रहा है, कोड एडिशनल ध्यान रखना पड़ रहा है तो अदर नेसेसरी एक्सपेंसेस आ जाएगा, इंटरेस्ट एंड द डेट. So if all these are not paid, the pawnee has a right to retain and he will not give the goods pledged because he has a specific lien over the goods, right? आई बात समझ में? So this is termed as the right to retainer of the pawnee. So let us say sir gave a gold chain to Heyman Jewelers, or let us say Ayush Pawnbrokers, right? So sir gave a gold chain, until sir doesn't pay, Ayush has a right to retain such gold chain till I don't pay the debt amount. So I have to pay debt plus interest and any other incidental expenses, necessary expenses. So if I don't pay all this, Ayush has a right to retain. That is termed as the pawnee's right to retain. So that sorts our question number 12. बहुत मजा आया. First part was regarding 178A, second was 173, whether a pawnee has a right to retain the goods pledge. Yes, and I told you for what all things he has a right to retain the goods. Now coming to question number 13, Bhupendra borrowed a sum of rupees 3 lakh from Atul. Bhupendra appointed Atul as his agent to sell his land and authorized him to appropriate the amount of loan out of sale proceeds. Bhupendra borrowed a sum from 3 lakh sum of 3 lakh from Atul. Bhupendra appointed Atul as his agent. तो भूपेंद्र बन गया प्रिंसिपल, अतुल बन गया एजेंट. बहुत 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 सिंपल है भाई. एजेंट टू सेल हिज लैंड. सबसे पहले लोन लिया. हु टुक द लोन? भूपेंद्र टुक द लोन. Right, home from Atul. Later on, Bhupendra appointed Atul as his agent to sell his land and authorized him to appropriate the amount of loan out of the sale proceeds. Afterwards, Bhupendra revoked the agency. Can he revoke the agency? नहीं हो सकता है. Right, not possible. Section 202 talks about agency coupled with interest. बहुत सारे केसेस किए थे इसके अपन ने, राइट. वी डन लॉट ऑफ केसेस, lot of cases in this one, and 2 examples I gave to 2 to 3 questions that we did from past attempts. So decide the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872 whether the revocation of the said agency by Bhupendra is lawful. No, it cannot be. So Atul can sell the piece of land and collect the money. खत्म हो गया. इस पे ज़्यादा डिस्कशन का कोई मतलब नहीं है. देयर इज नो पॉइंट डिस्कसिंग much on that because it is based on the very simple doctrine of agency coupled with interest, and we understood at the time, at or before the formation of the contract, if an interest is created in favor of the agent, then the agency is termed as coupled with interest, one coupled with interest, and cannot be cancelled, irrevocable हो जाता है. Right, and I told you logic behind it. Which part of the land, which part of the goods are mine, are your, is not known, so cancel नहीं हो सकता. Right, चलिए अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. सी एडवांसेस. चलिए 14 हमारा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है. सर्कल अच्छे से बना नहीं आ रहे हैं. हाँ, ये है सॉफ्टवेयर का कमाल. चलो, वेरी गुड. सी एडवांसेस टू बी 2 लाख रुपीज ऑन द गारंटी ऑफ ए. राइट, सी एडवांसेस. तो ये कौन हो गया? गारंटर भी है, तो सीधा सीधा पार्टीज का नाम बना लेते हैं. सी एडवांसेस इज द क्रेडिटर, मनी टू बी प्रिंसिपल डेटर, राइट, और गारंटी ऑफ ए गारंटर. सी हैज ऑल्सो टेकन अप फर्दर सिक्योरिटी फॉर द सेम बोरोइंग बाय मॉर्गेज ऑफ बी's फर्नीचर worth 2 lakh without knowledge of A. Right, C cancels the mortgage after 6 months. B becomes insolvent. Right, C cancels the mortgage, यानी creditor cancels the mortgage. सो यहाँ दो बातें की उसने, he took one a guarantor as well as he took a security of furniture worth 2 lakh rupees, right? So C cancels the mortgage. After 6 months, B becomes insolvent and C sues A on his guarantee. Decide the liability of A if the market value of furniture is 80,000, right? ये बहुत ही सिंपल है, ये है बेस्ड ऑन सेक्शन 141, राइट? 141 में क्या बोला था, राइट? व्हाट डज सेक्शन 141 से? बेस्ड ऑन section 141, this is pertaining to question number 14, right? बढ़ आगे, हाँ, सी 141 क्या बोलता है एक बार याद कर लेते हैं क्विकली. द surety is entitled to every security which the creditor has against the principal debtor at the time when the contract of suretyship is entered into. Thus, if the creditor loses the security, the surety is discharged to the extent of the value of एक बार रिएक्ट ही नहीं करता है, वैल्यू ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी. ओनली लाइन दैट कैन कंफ्यूज यू ओवर हियर इज आई मूव, हाँ चलो that only line that can confuse you over here is the one where it says that there is no knowledge, right? ये विदाउट नॉलेज खाली कंफ्यूज कर रहा है, लेकिन नॉलेज होने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. द लॉ वेरी क्लियरली स्टेट्स दैट इफ the creditor has taken any security at the time, यानी on or before the formation of the contract, then section 140 क्या बोलता है? The doctrine of subrogation. After all the payment has been made to the creditor, the security gets transferred to the surety and the surety steps into the shoes of the creditor, right? तो इसमें नॉलेज वर्ड का कोई यूज ही नहीं है भाई, राइट? खाली डमी खेल गया आपके साथ, राइट? So C advances that the creditor advances to B, principal debtor, 2 lakh rupees on the guarantee of A, Mr. Guarantor, C has taken a further security of the same borrowing on the borrowing by mortgage of B's furniture worth 2 lakh without knowledge of A. Security has to be taken at the time of formation of the contract. Baat khatam, right? Baat khatam. So there is no discussion on this one whether the knowledge is there or not there. Yes, if the security was taken on a later date and then returned back, then the amount would not get deducted from surety's entire liability. So mano ki this contract happened on 10th of April, the security was taken in July, given back in the month of August, right? Tab nahi ho sakta hai, tab bhul jao, right? Then the surety doesn't get सो हमने समझ लिया कि नॉलेज यहाँ मैटर नहीं करेगा. मैटर क्या करेगा? दैट द सिक्योरिटी हैज बीन गिवन एट और बिफोर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. तो यहाँ लिखा हुआ है द श्योरिटी इज एंटाइटल्ड टू एवरी सिक्योरिटी विच द क्रेडिटर हैज अगेंस्ट द प्रिंसिपल डेटर एट द टाइम व्हेन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ श्योरिटीशिप इज entered into. Thus, if the creditor loses the security, the surety is discharged to the extent of the value of the security. Extent of the value of the security. हमारा आंसर क्या आ जाएगा? हमारा आंसर भाई कितना है यहाँ? 2 लाख. ठीक है, यहाँ है 2 lakh. See, the market worth of the security was 80,000. Right. So at this point इसका लॉजिक क्या है, एक बात समझने की ट्राई करते हैं. अगर हम लोग कि 2 लाख की सिक्योरिटी दी थी, the security worth was 2 lakh at the time when it was given, but as it is the case of furniture, it depreciates pretty quickly. So over a period of time, 6-8 महीना, 1 year or 1.5 year, whenever it was, the time, see, decide the liability of A if the market value of the furniture. So this guy after 6 months he becomes insolvent. So insolvency से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. That is why the creditor, right, that is Mr. C, is trying to guard himself, right, in case the principal debtor Mr. B becomes insolvent. So C sues A, his guarantor or the guarantee, decide the liability of A. So obviously A would have paid and then would have got the security worth 80,000. Though at the time when the security was first given, the value was 2 lakh. So 2 lakh value matter nahi karegi. Now just see the scheme of things. If this security, this furniture was not given back to B, that is principal debtor, by C, who is the creditor, then after making the payment, Mr. Guarantor would have got the furniture and he would have sold it in the market for 80,000. तो relief कितनी मिलेगी? Only to the value of the furniture. Value as on which date? जब ये sue हो रहा है, right? If nothing is given, then हम लोग this initial value ले लेंगे. If the final value is given, we will consider the final value. That is more important because after making the payment, Mr. A, the guarantor, will get security and sell the security in the market in order to recover the amount, and the rest under section 145 he can claim 1,20,000 from whom? From the principal debtor, right? So over here, so 2 lakh minus 80,000, so liability of Mr. A, liability of Mr. A is 1,20,000. और बहुत ही लॉजिकल है अगर देखा जाए तो. ठीक है. नाउ इफ आई क्विकली रन थ्रू फॉर अटेम्प्ट क्वेश्चन कितने आते थे, जस्ट डू दैट. सी में इट इज 4 marks plus 4 marks plus 4 marks 12 plus 3 15, right? So November it is how much? Say 3 plus 3 9, 9 plus यही सब लिखा हुआ है। Nine plus another 3 plus 3 is 6 plus, just a second, this is not helping me, this absolutely, this software is rubbish. Fine, so got November 3 plus 3, and what is the price tag of the other item? 3, 9. So there are 9 marks that you got in the I don't know why computer calls it a command when it doesn't want to follow it. Fair enough, leave it here only. Fair enough. So in November 18, again there are pretty few marks, so this is not helping my cause at all. So in short, I'll just put it in brief what I want to over here. Why this gentleman has turned up? I'll light it over here only. If it has turned up, let it be. So on an average 9 marks to max of 15 marks turns up from the Indian Contract Act, right? So if I do it in full, every provision have to take 40 hours for an average of 9-15, मतलब 10 to 12 marks के average के लिए 40 hours is unreasonable. That's why we do question and answers, right, which takes half the time, and you have seen the question answers are pretty much repeated in nature. So guys, I would request you that study properly. Any doubts, we'll get back on that one, needn't worry. But 9 to 15 marks are for taking, so we shouldn't spend 40 hours obviously for that. A reasonable time spent is 1.5 hour per mark in class, max 1.5 hour. That is what I say. For 800 marks we have to have 1100 to 1200 max number of classes, 11 to 1200 number of hours, right? So 40 marks for 40 hours we shouldn't spend for 9 to 15 marks, so that is completely unreasonable. That's why we did question and answers. So hope everything is clear. Revise it properly twice, right? So you can seal that 9 to 15 marks, and we have not spent more than 12 to 15 odd hours doing this. So that's completely proper value for money deal, right? So I'm a finance guy, so we'll be learning finance when we come to that topic. As of now, seal this law thing, and if you have any doubt, you can get back to me very much. You have my number. So I'm just making the last attempt to scroll through this. 4 plus 4 plus 4, May 19, it's 12 marks. So we have 4 plus 4 plus 4. It's another 12 marks in November 19. So that tells us a good average is between, the worst is 9, the best is 15. So good average between the two is 12, and we are sorted with all the question and answers. Please read it carefully, right? And any doubts, we'll get back on that one. Best of luck, do good.